ayes have it.
Hello and welcome to the program. I am Dennis Adegunloye. It was finally assented to a few weeks ago, but following reconsideration of various aspects of the Petroleum Industry Act 2021, President Muhammadu Buhari has written to the Senate requesting the amendments of its administrative structure. In an executive communication, the President explained that for efficient administration of the new oil sector regime, the Ministers of Petroleum Resources and Finance, Budget and National Planning should be removed from membership of the board of the two regulatory institutions, as they can still discharge their statutory responsibilities without being members of the board.
The Petroleum Industry Act 2021 provided for the appointment of two non-executive members for the board of the two regulatory institutions. I'm of the view that this membership limitation has not addressed the principle of balanced geopolitical representation of the country. It will now increase the number of non-executive members from 2 to 6, that is, one person from each of the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. Removal of the Ministers of Petroleum and Finance from the board of the two institutions. The proposed amendment will increase the membership of the board from 9 to 13 members, that is representing 44% expansion of the board size.
And in preparation for the receipt and consideration of the 2022 budget, the Senate has approved the 2022 to 2024 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper. Along with this was approval of the federal government's aggregate expenditure of 13.98 trillion naira for the 2022 fiscal year. The legislators also approved a projected GDP growth rate of 4.2%.
The Committee on Finance particularly...
Senate plenary took off with a busy order paper, which eventually gave way for only the consideration of the 2022-2024 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper. The report of the Senate Joint Committee on Finance and 6 other committees on the scrutiny of the financial document made critical recommendations.
That the projected new borrowing of 4.89 trillion, including the foreign and the domestic borrowing, be approved, subject to the provision of the details of the borrowing plan to the National Assembly. 8. That $3.5 billion International Monetary Fund loan at a rate of 0.1 to 0.02 be approved to shore up the internal borrowing and to reduce the external borrowing because of the exchange rates.
Our concern must be, what are we borrowing for? If our borrowing is to develop infrastructural facilities, our educational facilities, I think it is a good thing to borrow, to develop education and increase capacity of the younger generation.
We should not be afraid of the fiscal deficit. This deficit is necessary. In fact, in the world today, there is no nation, with maybe a possible exception of China, that is free from this huge deficit.
Senate approved the committee's recommendation of $410.15 United States dollars to a naira for 2022 to 2024 fiscal year, oil production of 1.88 million barrels per day for 2022, and benchmark of 57 United States dollars per barrel.
And then why we can't have a steady exchange rate, at least for 2 years.
A lot of inspections are going on, but the monies that are supposed to accrue to government are not coming into government coffers.
There were critical observations by the senators.
In 2020, that interest on Ways and Means, January through to December, huge sum of money was paid on that respect. Then we need somebody from CBN to come and explain to us what is this waste and what is this interest of waste and means.
What we have is uncoordinated, uncontrolled mining of our resources in the country.
A Senate and our various committees must equally be up and doing in terms of oversight.
We must be very careful basing whatever we want to do in 2022 about VAT, because the VAT issue is a vexed issue.
I think there is nothing wrong in continuing with VAT as part of our revenues, because there is no finality in any judgment yet. I want to also challenge Federal Revenue Service, the customs, and other major revenue collecting or generating agencies. They need to bring in more revenues because we have given them all the support that is necessary.
The Senate Committee on Public Accounts has advised the Nigerian Television Authority to devise an effective debt recovery scheme to ensure that debts are recovered for services provided to customers. Chairman of the committee, Matthew Ohorigide, who said this, also announced the vacation of queries from the Office of the Auditor General to the NTA for the 2016 to 2018 financial year.
Senate Public Accounts Committee has been inviting ministries, departments and agencies before its annual recess. At its resumed investigative hearing over queries by the Auditor General for the Federation, the Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority is before the committee to explain and clarify on issues in the year 2016 to 2018 financial report. The Director General, while acknowledging some of the infractions, noted that though inexcusable, they occurred as a result of the authority's peculiar line of business, which involves meeting deadlines.
The trade debtors arose from credit given to advertising agencies in line with the advertising practice. Efforts are already being made to recover the outstanding sums. However, most of the agencies have folded up, and we have written a series of letters to the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria (BON) and the Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria (APCON).
The Director General further said that those institutions and agencies that are heavily indebted to the NTA and have consistently refused to pay will be blacklisted and will be treated on a cash and carry basis only. With the peculiarity of managing media organizations, the committee observed that the perceived infractions by the Nigerian Television Authority was for a good cause.
We are going to resolve it in your favor. On behalf of the committee, we want to respect that wish. We will vacate that query.
The committee adjourned with expectations that more ministries, departments and agencies will appear before it.
The Senate has assured members of the Association of Police Pensioners that their grievances over the contributory pension scheme have been well taken and will be addressed. This was during a peaceful rally by the group at the National Assembly.
This is not the first time members of the Nigeria Police retirees will be converging on the National Assembly to press home their demands. But the presence of members from 27 states of the Federation makes this an issue of general concern.
Nobody here will say that is comfortable with the contributory pension scheme. No. I retired as the Chief Superintendent of Police. What they pay me today is 42,000. I'm even lucky.
We are supposed to be kept in the reserve bench, pacified. Then the authority will always fall back to earn from our experiences.
President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, represented by Senate Deputy Minority Whip, assured the retirees the Senate is more than ready to address the issue in contention for the benefit of all Nigerians.
Your own bit is to ensure that what we require as input is also made available to the committee and by extension to the National Assembly. The National Assembly will ensure that you get justice, the justice that you deserve.
Sit down, condense the whole, that's the act, the Position Act. And then when you're making your input, you make sure everything has been captured in that presentation. It is, I assure you, it is what we are going to use as a guidance on the amendment on the floor of the Senate.
The men have been agitating that they should be removed from the contributing pensions, just like other security agencies in Nigeria.
The Senate Committee on FIRMA was recently in Calabar, Cross River State, to inspect ongoing work by the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency. Satisfaction was expressed with the progress of work, although the oversight visits of the committee continue. A commitment was also made to ensure that funds allocated to FIRMA for road rehabilitation across the country are properly spent.
Federal Roads Maintenance Agency FEMA is carrying out intervention work on federal roads across Cross River State, some of which have been completed and others are near completion. Portions of the road inspected by the Chairman, Senate Committee on FEMA, Gesham Basi, are in Calabar Municipal and Calabar South local government areas. They include Calabar Akampa Ikom Dual Carriageway, Old Odukwari High Tech Pro, Redemption Avenue, Ballantyne, Achibong Street Roads and the Atimbo Ikang Road.
So far, I've seen it is okay. It seems okay, but we are still to conclude our oversight. Barely a month ago, the Minister for Works announced a 75 billion naira contract, which he said was for the unawarded portion of the Calabar-Itu Road. We expect that those monies will be released as soon as possible, and I urge the federal government to immediately release the funds, and then the three contractors should immediately get to site.
FEMA and the contractor handling various road projects give assurances to deliver on specification, but regretted the challenge of unfriendly weather conditions.
All the materials we use in our projects, they are all certified before they use them.
The area that we have not completed is because of the weather condition.
For the residents, it is a booster to their economic activities.
Before now, when the road was too bad, we experienced a lot of erosion and also flood. The water entered some people's house, so it was very rough.
For close to 2 years now, the world has been grappling with challenges posed by the coronavirus pandemic. Now, progress has been made with the rollout of vaccinations, relaxation of travel restrictions, and a gradual decrease in death rates. However, the world is not yet out of the woods, as the pioneer chairman of the Senate Committee on Primary Healthcare and Communicable Diseases, Mao Ohuabunwa, emphasizes. He speaks on the Nigerian and global response to COVID-19 and the quite brilliant collaboration between the 8th National Assembly and the Executive in bringing the Nigeria Center for Disease Control into being.
Well, first and foremost, I have to thank God for Bukola Saraki. I have to thank God for the present president. I mean the president of the country, Muhammad Buhari. Because, one, I was the first Senate Committee Chairman on Primary Healthcare and Communicable Diseases. The Parliament never had that committee before now. And I look at the Senate President, Bukola, who created that committee before making me the chairman. I relate to him like what people say Nostradamus, the man who saw future, who saw tomorrow. Because that time, there was no COVID, There was no Ebola. These are communicable. We are not there. But as if, look, he saw that, if he saw the future, that these things were on their way. And you could see that because of the creation of that my committee, we worked with the Ministry of Health, and we produced the bill that is sponsored the bill on Center for Disease Control, and we today was the organ, the platform that helped us to curtail and still curtailing all these communicable diseases, Lassa fever, Ebola, and now COVID. As if we knew, because if we had left it on General Health Committee, it would have been so bogus and so ordinary for them to manage. But now this is a specific committee. And you can also see what the Primary Healthcare Development Agency is also doing. I mean, under Pfizer, in the area of immunization. You can see the response. So for me, I look back and thank God that, one, I am privileged and I had the opportunity to be part of the benefits of democracy. Because if I wasn't there in the Senate, if I wasn't given the opportunity to be the chairman and the first ever, maybe by now we would have been crying, the issue would have been different. So for me, it's one of my greatest legacies and joy when I look back. I say thank God that I had the opportunity to play my role. And thank those agencies, they are doing very well. They are doing very well. Center for Disease Control is doing wonderfully well. Primary Health Care is doing well. NACA, these were agencies under my committee. NACA, that is AIDS committee. They are all doing very well. And like I said, as if we knew that today would come. And without this committee, it would have been difficult. So you can see that I'm happy. The response is quite high and appreciable. Nigerians are getting more and more involved. But I'm still saying that it's not yet uhuru, especially with the COVID. We should, as much as possible, take the vaccine. Let nobody deceive you. There is nothing about all this blackmail and hula baloo about the aftermath or the after effect. I don't understand. I've seen that the after effect is the normal after effect of any vaccine. Growing up, we took vaccines, what do you call it, chicken pox, measles, and all that. It's the same thing. There is nothing wrong. And you can see, too, that with the level of response to the vaccines, the death rate has dropped. And most people who are affected today are those who have not been vaccinated. So we need to then also keep to the non-pharmaceutical protocols. Wear your mask, at least keep some good distance, stay more in an airy environment, don't stay in a congested environment. And you can see that that is working. So yes, I say I'm pleading with Nigerians and I'm asking them that it's important that we should keep to these norms. Because these norms are becoming like the normal. Today, wearing of mask, sanitizing and washing your hands, keeping a social distance and reducing the number of people. We have even improved because that has also helped us in the area of technology. Today, people work from home. Today, people hold Zoom meetings. You mustn't go to America to meet with somebody. You can sit in Nigeria and on a Zoom, have a Zoom meeting and reach a conclusion, an agreement. So you can, since the advent of COVID, especially in Nigeria, you can see that Federal Executive Council meeting had been going on, unhindered, but not everybody physically present at the chamber. The major people who have papers to present that they will be there, while other ministers will join via Zoom, through internet. They will be part of it, and the decisions are reached. It's not that they took decision behind you. You'll be there. The only thing that you won't be physically present. It's becoming the mode of relationship these days. So I think that has also helped us in our technological advancement. Yes. So that we have moved. So we are moving on. So for me, everything that has a disadvantage has a advantage. So the disadvantage, yes, there, but in terms of technology, we have moved faster than we would have done. And that's why I'm telling my colleagues today who will now begin to talk that we cannot transmit results, that we cannot transmit results electronically. When honestly, we have developed electronically, we have developed in terms of technology, that you can do many things now, things you didn't know you could do ab initio, but now you can do them. So why do we have to pull ourselves? We should move ahead and move along with the country and what is happening. Yes, I've been an advocate of transparency in whatever I get involved. Not now, long before now, before we now talk about corruption and all that. There is no gainsaying the fact that any money, no matter how small, that is budgeted and allocated to the health sector must be judiciously used and accounted for. Coupled with the fact that it's like a far cry, because whatever our budget, whatever CBN, whatever they are doing in the health sector is still a far cry. It's like a drop in an ocean. Because if you look at the level of our dilapidation in the health sector, which means for us to revive the health sector and talk about health for all, come 20 whatever, definitely we have to look for a different source of funding for health, either through tax or whatever. Because what we have to look at today, people still travel out. People still go. You can even see the doctors are on strike as we speak. So which means, what is it? The whole grammar is about funding. It's money. So what we are saying is that now that CBN, through this COVID intervention, has woken up, at least to assist pharmaceutical industries and other agencies, they should do more so that at least we'll begin to become self-dependent in terms of managing our health, in terms of production of drugs, medicaments, consumables in the hospital equipment, and also retain our professionals, because that is one key area. Because even if you equip a place without a professional, competent professional to manage it, is as good as a waste. So you can't do one without the other. We need to equip our hospitals. We need to as a matter of urgency. And that was why I told them, look, there was this health bill, which is an Health Act of 2014. We must implement it wholesale. If we implement it, at least to a large extent, it will help us, because it specified funding at different levels: the primary health care, the secondary, and the tertiary health institutions. You have a share in that health bill, that Health Act of 2014. It's only unfortunate that when we came in and ate assembly, I pursued my colleague what is his name now? Larry Tejo, my good friend, my pal. Yes. Two of us pushed, and with the support of the Senate President and the Senate, at least we got to a level. The initial time, the first year, we budgeted for it. People call it budget padding. But eventually they recognized that first year, I think we were able to get, is it 500 million or 550? I can't remember. But gradually, the next year, the executive bought into it, more money. But that is not yet there. It's not yet there yet, because it's not supposed to be budget. There is a money specified, certain percentage of the national budget. It's not something you budget for. It's specified that a certain percentage of the total national budget must be dedicated to health. But unfortunately, we are here together. I pray that we'll get there. But like you said, I'm happy that some of these interventionist approaches came through COVID issue. And all I'm saying is that we sustain them and use them as a yardstick to go for that. And I'm happy. Most of the agencies that exposed our inadequacies as far as health sector is concerned. So, and health is wealth. No matter whether you are educated, you're not educated, whatever your level, health is key. You need to be alive. I'm speaking today because I'm alive. You are here today because you are alive. The president is talking today because he's alive. You saw when he had his health problems, and any person could be in the same position tomorrow. So health is key. We should not joke with the health sector. It's very important. While we equip, while we support the pharmaceutical agencies, manufacturers, we also should carry our workers, those on the front burner, the professionals along. It's very key because you need two to tango.
Absolutely.
Yes, you need two to tango.
Distinguished Senator Mark,
yes.
I'm grateful. It was a fantastic interview.
Thank you very much.
Health is wealth, as they say. Well, it's on that note we conclude this edition of the program. I'm Dennis Adigunloye. Thanks for watching and see you next week.